Good afternoon, everybody. Will Dupree here in the KXAN Live Studio. Thanks for joining us. We are awaiting a news conference from the athletic director at Texas Tech. He is going to be presumably talking about the basketball coach, Chris Beard, leaving to come to Texas, come here to Austin to coach the Longhorns. So before that news conference gets underway, I do want to bring in our sports director here at KXAN, Roger Wallace. Roger, thank you so much for being here. A big day for you all.
Yeah, it's interesting, Will, and my guess is Kirby Hokut's going to talk about Chris Beard leaving. I'm not sure how much into Texas he's going to get. This is a very difficult day for Texas Tech and their fans. They thought they had the perfect setup for Chris Beard and thought they had everything in place that he needed. He almost won a national title 2 years ago. And then on top of that, it's to Texas, obviously one of the in-state rivals. So Kirby Hokut's not going to be in a good mood today.
For sure, and we have not gotten official confirmation just yet from the University of Texas about this new coach hire. However, I do want to show you all a tweet that came within just the last few minutes from the Longhorn Network saying the search is over. Texas hires Chris Beard as the new Texas men's basketball head coach with a graphic and his picture there. Roger?
Yeah, and there's some administrative work that has to be finished at Texas. I think we think it's just as simple as, oh, he's going, so therefore why hasn't Texas announced it? They have their procedures and protocol, make sure everything's in place. But shortly after the news broke this morning, Texas Tech had removed Chris Beard's bio from their official basketball website, so that was a pretty good indication that things didn't work out. And Will, today's the magic day because his buyout from Texas Tech dropped by $1 million today. It was at $5 million until April 1st. Now it's $4 million. They built that in specifically for either Texas schools or Big 12 schools, so it was lower if he had, for instance, North Carolina had come calling. Roy Williams announced he retired today, but to leave for a school in Texas or in the Big 12, it's going to cost $4 million to buy out his contract. That dropped by $1 million today. And he was making a lot of money, Will. There was a lot of speculation. Will he be paid higher than the football coach, Steve Sarkisian, who's at about $5.2 million? So, you know, people want the basketball program to win, and after that, I'm not sure they care. But it is an interesting dynamic at the University of Texas if, in fact, the basketball coach is making more money than the football coach.
Well, yeah, what do you think about Chris Beard potentially becoming the head coach here at UT?
Well, he was the obvious choice. He was casting quite a shadow. He was a graduate of UT. He was a student assistant under Tom Penders in the 90s, and so he had taken them so high so fast as Kirby Hokut gets ready to sit down and dress. This was the obvious choice. The biggest question, Will, could Texas lure him away from a very comfortable situation out in Lubbock?
Well, here we go. Here's the news conference now with the athletic director at Texas Tech. Let's take a listen. Roger, thank you for joining us. And I know that people can tune in to find out the latest on this very big decision coming up later today.
That's right. 4:30 we'll start it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And here is the news conference now, beginning with, again, the athletic director at Texas Tech.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We'll get started with today's press conference with Director of Athletics Kirby Hokut. As a reminder, we will start with an opening statement, and then we will go into questions. As a reminder, similar to our other press conferences, please use the raise your hand feature when we get around to questions, and I'll turn the floor over to Kirby Hokut for an opening statement.
Thank you, Matt. Red Raider Nation, the best and most passionate fan base in the country. Today is not a setback. Today is a change in direction. I have four thoughts that I would like to share with the Red Raider Nation today. And let me begin that, and then we'll open it up for questions, as Matt indicated. First, I would like to say to the basketball team, I had a chance to visit with our team this afternoon, a great group of young men that gave us so much to cheer for throughout this basketball season. To prepare and play through so many unknowns with COVID wasn't easy, but they persevered, and we're on the cusp of advancing to the second weekend of the tournament and gave us so much to be proud of and to cheer for. To the 2020-2021 team, I again say thank you, much respect, great admiration for all that you accomplished and the way that you represented Texas Tech. Number two, to our student body. You've established one of the best environments in college basketball. Just ask any Big 12 conference coach after they come into the United Supermarkets arena. The environment, the energy that our student body has established here in this arena is exceptional. You've given our team, you've given the United Supermarkets arena a great home court advantage, and we appreciate that more than we can express to you. So, Raider Riot, let's keep what you've built going. And I know as we get back to full capacity next basketball season, your creativity is going to continue to grow to make this the best basketball arena in the nation to provide a home court advantage for our team. Student body, thank you for what you've done for our university and for this basketball program. Number three, to the Red Raider Nation and our basketball season ticket holders, you have elevated this basketball program to great national recognition. Your attendance, your generosity has elevated us to a position among the nation's best. We have the very best facilities in the country. We are beginning to move into the Womble Basketball Center. It's a state-of-the-art, the best basketball center that you're going to find in this country. The recruiting path that we have from the Womble Basketball Center to the United Supermarkets Arena, which is still one of the best basketball playing facilities in this country, is second to no one. The future of this program is bright because of the great support that we've received and continue to receive from the Red Raider Nation. Our attendance, our home court advantage that our fans have provided is exceptional. We thank you, Red Raider Nation, for being here every time the ball goes in the air. We've significantly invested into this basketball program, and that investment is going to continue as we move forward. This investment was here yesterday. It's going to be here tomorrow, and we're going to continue to move forward even as we change directions today. And I will say this about the Red Raider Nation. There is no doubt whatsoever in my mind that when the Big 12 Conference releases next year's basketball schedule, that when that team comes to Lubbock, Texas, the United Supermarkets Arena is going to be rocking that night. And there's no doubt in my mind that when we go to Austin, the Red Raider Nation will occupy a majority of their arena, just as we have done in the past. Number four, my last thought that I share with you today is our change of direction. Today we pivot. Today we change direction. Again, it's not a setback, it's a change in direction. And that started this morning when Coach Beard shared with me that he was taking another job. Let me take this moment to say thank you to Coach Beard for all that he has done over the past 5 years. I've enjoyed working alongside Chris, working with him to get to the point where we are today. I say thank you, Coach Beard, for the great memories and the experiences that we've shared with our university over the past 5 years. Today, with the change in direction, we will be hiring a search firm to assist us in this process. That is in progress and will be completed very soon. We've also established a 4-person search committee to help us as we navigate the candidates and ultimately a selection to move forward with the leadership of this program. This 4-person committee will consist of myself, will consist of our president, Lawrence Skuvanek. It will consist of our Board of Regent member, Dusty Womble, and it will also include Red Raider great Tony Battie. The 4 of us have all been in communication with each other today, and our process will begin moving forward immediately. So with that, let me again say to the Red Raider Nation, this is not a setback. This is a change in direction. This basketball program has never been greater. Our investment was there yesterday. Our investment is there today. And our investment into this program is going to continue tomorrow. So with that, let me pause and happy to answer any questions that you may have.
We'll start with Chris Level for questions.
Yeah, Kirby, take me through just the process and about was there a counter offer? Or just kind of take me through how that worked with you guys from your standpoint.
Yeah, Chris. I would summarize it by saying we have been proactive with Coach Beard. I believe we always have been proactive, and that did not change this season. In fact, it began even last year, October, November of 2020. We were having discussions. There were internal discussions as well as with some constituent groups about how we could continue to invest into Coach Beard, into his basketball program, and, talked about future contract opportunities. We moved our internal discussion forward and submitted a formal proposal for what we, Texas Tech University, positioned as a lifetime contract or a rolling contract here at Texas Tech. It became obvious in the months ahead that there was not an interest in that type of lifetime agreement or rolling contract. So, our dialogue continued over the months, continued through Indianapolis. Tony Hernandez and myself actually had breakfast with Chris's agent in Indianapolis. We continue to talk about future opportunities. So obviously I can't speak for Coach Beard, so you'll have to ask him. He shared with me today he was ready for another challenge. So I don't fully understand it. It obviously wasn't for better fan support or better facilities. He told me it was not for financial reasons. I know that the Red Raider Nation was ready to invest. I appreciate our supporters who have called me and offered their willingness to help to continue this investment into our basketball program. But, we were not given an opportunity to provide a counter offer or even know what he was offered. So we've been proactive. Those conversations went back as far as last year. We had the idea of a lifetime rolling contract here at Texas Tech. Red Raider Nation was ready to invest into our basketball program like we have in the past. So with that, be happy to answer the next question.
We'll go to Carlos Silva.
Kirby, I know you said you spoke to the players earlier today. In terms of who's the interim coach now, or I guess what is set in place right now for those players, and what did you kind of learn from them in terms of their feelings?
Yeah, this is a great group of young men. Carlos, as you know, you've covered them all year, and it was a business-like approach. It was a group of young men who I think understand how this works. None of us wanted to be in this position that we are today. But with that said, a resolute group, and it was a group that was all were present. Everybody was on the call, and we agreed to keep communication lines open in the coming days. And it's a group of young men that I have the utmost respect for.
Go to Don Williams.
Kirby, a couple of questions. One, to what extent was Chris involved in the planning of the Womble? And two, did Chris ever ask for anything that you were reluctant to provide, be it not just with the Womble, but anything in the program in general?
Yeah, number one, was Coach Beard involved in the design of the Womble? Absolutely. He was a part of that process from day one, obviously, along with the architects, along with the athletic department, along with our facility planning and construction group. I believe as we work through the Womble Basketball Center, Coach Beard's thoughts and direction was a large part of that facility. And it's a beautiful facility. I look forward to our programs being able to move into that. It's state-of-the-art. There's not another one that's any better in this country. So we're extremely proud of that. It's going to have some features in the Womble Basketball Center that no other program has in this country. We've got video walls going up in the men's as well as the women's practice gyms now that will be unlike anything that college basketball has seen. Coach Beard had a part big part in development of those video boards. So was he involved? Absolutely he was. He brought great value to those discussions and ultimate design. Chris and I talked constantly about ideas, thoughts, how to move this program forward every day. Did we ever say no to anything? We were working towards a lot of things. He had ideas on the future of attendance, and we had concepts on downside. Are there ideas how to downsize the United Supermarkets arena? That was a conversation that we were engaged in to help enhance the in-game experience, the arena atmosphere. So I hope that everything that Coach Beard asked for or he brought forward, that we were open-minded, that we provided full consideration, and don't know anything sitting here today that we didn't do the best we could to continue the investment into the program while he was here, as we will do tomorrow as we move this program forward.
Go to Jarrett Johnson.
Hey, Kirby, you mentioned Beard told you this morning that he was taking the Texas job. Was that the first inkling you had that he was, in fact, taking the Texas job? And also, what type of coach are you looking for moving forward?
Yes, Jarrett, he told me this morning, probably close to 10 o'clock, that he was taking the Texas job. It was something that obviously had been weighing on him. Even as late as yesterday, we sat in his office probably from 1:30 to about 2:45 and, talked a lot about the future of Texas Tech basketball. He called me last night probably around 10:30, and I could tell that, he had a decision to be made, and I could tell it was weighing very heavily on him. And he wanted to take last night to sleep on it and to, make his final decision at some point today. So that's what he shared with me. And I got that call that he wanted to visit around 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning. So that was something I could tell Jarrett that had been weighing on him as late as 10:30 last night. And then he shared with me around 10 o'clock this morning.
Go to Brian Davis.
Hey, Kirby. Just listening to you talk, is frustration the right word that describes your emotions through all this, especially when you say that you weren't really even offered a chance to counter?
Yeah, Brian, frustration, absolutely. Disappointment, absolutely. You work along somebody for 5 years, and you invest into this program and you grow this program. And of course, his leadership had a great deal to do with that. But, at the same time, there are other components that have led to the success of Texas Tech basketball. I believe our student body. I believe we've had the best fan support in the country. I believe that, you talk about some of the investments that have been made by so many generous individuals, starting with Mr. Dusty Womble, who's on our Board of Regents, that'll be a part of the search committee that our new facility recognizes with his name on it. We're going to fight, to use a term that Coach Beard uses every day. You get in the fight. We've been in the fight for 5 years, and the fight's not over. And you have somebody that then walks away to go to an in-conference school, an in-state school. Absolutely, that frustrates you. Heck yeah, it does. If we're honest and loyal and sincere about talking about getting in the fight, and you're in the fight every day, yeah, frustration would be a kind word to summarize it.
Go to Eric Kelly and David Collier.
A couple here, Kirby, along those lines. How does this kind of compare to 6 years ago or whatever, when we were going through the same situation with Tubby? Is it the same frustration, the way this one ended up compared to that one?
Oh, David, no, that they don't feel the same. Chris took this program to great heights. He took us to to Monday night. And I say, Chris, it was everybody. It was the young men in that locker room, right? It was the Red Raider Nation. There were stark differences between what happened then and what happened now. Coach Beard stayed in communication with me consistently, was always accessible. Even we've talked every day for the last 5 or 6 days, multiple times a day. So I have great, I have great memories and experiences working with Coach Beard. His communication has always been exceptional, and that was no different late last night or early this morning. So this one was much different, and it feels different because we've worked together longer and we achieved more working together.
Noticing on the website that Mark Adams and Sean Sutton are the two main assistants that are left. Can we read into that they are still with the program in some way, shape, or form, and everyone else has decided to go to Austin as well?
Good question, fair question, David. I know that Coach Beard shared that everybody on the staff was offered the opportunity to go to Austin. I had a chance to see Coach Adams briefly this morning and know that there's been conversations here. To my knowledge, he's remained here in Lubbock, and I look forward to having a chance to talk to Coach Adams more. It was my understanding that Coach Sutton or Sean was on his way driving to Oklahoma for Easter this morning, so I've not had a chance to see or talk to Sean this morning, but look forward to connecting with him as well.
Go to Ronald Clark.
Kirby, thinking of those players and the decision that they sort of have, coming up pretty soon here, as you mentioned that you'd like to get a new coach in pretty soon here, is there sort of a timeline of when you're expecting to make a hire, or just, the thought process of getting someone sort of in here to ease their decision as far as if they want to, remain at Texas Tech or move on?
Yeah, as I shared with the team this morning, that two searches are never identical. They all are unique in their own ways. You try to move them forward as quickly as you can, but you take as much time as you need. So, I shared with the team, don't be surprised if this takes a couple of weeks to move forward and to bring to conclusion, but we'll move as quickly as we can. It'll be what we focus on, every waking hour of the day from here until it's brought to conclusion. So we'll work as expeditiously as we can. These young men know that, and we're going to stay in communication with them the best we can so they can, know what's going on and hopefully continue to be a Red Raider. But we all recognize that college basketball is changing. The landscape's changing. Coach Beard and I have talked a lot about that over the last week and a half with the transfer portal. So, we got a great group of young men, a talented group of young men, and we're going to move this forward as quickly as we can, but make sure we get the right leader to come in to continue the positive trajectory of this program.
Go to Joe Yeager.
Yeah, Kirby, in the 5 years that Beard was the head coach at Texas Tech, did you ever ask him about his potential interest in the Texas job if it should come open? And if so, how did he respond?
We never talked. We didn't talk about that job in particular. We talked about winning basketball, and Coach Beard's a competitor, and he has one thing on his mind, and that's winning. So we talked about building a winning basketball program here in Lubbock at Texas Tech every time we talked, how to do that, how to go about it. But, we didn't talk about, this particular job or any particular job. It was all about how to build a winning basketball program.
We'll go back to Don Williams.
Kirby, a lot of social media speculation that Chris was discontent with the Under Armour agreement. Can you address that?
Robert gave me a heads up on that a couple of days ago, Don, but there was no validity to that. Under Armour has been a great partner of Texas Tech has been a loyal partner of Texas Tech, has invested into this athletics program. So we're very appreciative of the partnership we share with Under Armour, and that was not a piece of discontent with Coach Beard.
Go back to Eric Kelly and David Collier.
Kirby, you talked about being in communication with Coach Beard through this process. Did Texas ever reach out and ask for permission to interview Coach Beard? And if not, is that something that interconference you think should have been a courtesy?
No, Eric, they did. Chris Del Conte is a professional, and he's a friend and colleague, and he did provide the appropriate professional courtesies, and I appreciated that as we went through this process.
We'll go to Ryan King for our final question.
Hey, Kirby. So we haven't obviously got to talk to Coach in a few weeks since the game against Arkansas. And you mentioned you've been in contact with him multiple times every day. And you said he wanted to change, but what do you think in your gut is the reason that he's gone? What has changed over these last couple of weeks to ultimately lead to this decision?
You know, Ryan, I can't speak for Coach Beard. That'll be a question that you'll have to ask him. He shared with me he was ready for another challenge. He was ready for the next challenge, and again, I don't fully understand what all that entails, because I believe we've got the best facilities, the best fan base, and the best college basketball program in the state of Texas. So that's something that he'd have to answer for himself. But hope that answers your question, Ryan.
All right, that'll do it for today's press conference. We'll finish with a final statement from Kirby.
Yeah, just would, again, like to tell the Red Raider Nation, thank you for your continued support. This is a great basketball program. That investment's going to continue. Again, this is not a setback. This is a change of direction. Appreciate the continued support. Wreck 'em.
Will Dupree here in the KXAN Live studio. Thank you all for sticking with us. Of course, there we just heard that the athletic director at Texas Tech confirming that Chris Beard has decided to leave that program to come to Austin to coach the Longhorns here at University of Texas. Just wanted to mention that the athletic director there was saying that there will be a search team put in place of 4 people. He will be included in that to look for a new coach to replace this man right here that you're seeing, Coach Chris Beard. He was saying that he didn't understand Beard's decision to want to come to Texas for this new job. He also said that the emotions he would use to describe this situation is, quote, frustration and disappointment. Earlier, we had on Sports Director Roger Wallace here to talk about this decision. He will be following up on it, obviously, later this afternoon and into this evening during our newscast, so please tune in for that. More information is also available right now on our website. This story is right at our homepage at kxan.com. You can also look at the reporting over on our mobile app, the KXAN News mobile app, so download that on your smartphone if you've not done so already. Once again, I'm Will Dupree here in the KXAN Live studio. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you back here another time, everybody. Please stay safe and take care, and we'll see you here at another time.